Today's episode of The Mom Game is brought to you by our friends at Gateway Buick GMC at LBJ and Jupiter. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway because their slogan is Gateway's got it. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new Buicks, GMCs, and GM certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. In these busy times, you want a car dealer who makes things easy and convenient. Well, guess what? Gateway's got it. When you log on to gatewaybuickgmc.com, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule your delivery. And on top of all this, Gateway Buick GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. So when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaybuickgmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade. Experience the new Buick. And welcome to episode 60
60-something
of The Mom Game. We're shooting stuff a little bit out of order. It's summer. We're traveling.
And we decided nobody really cares anyways.
Nobody really cares except for us. But in a couple weeks, we're just going to be like, bam, it's number 70, and here we go. And then we're going to keep good track of it. But I am Emily Jones. This is Julie Dobbs.
Hello.
And Julie, I am going to let you introduce our very special guest because you guys are radio sisters.
We are co-workers, kind of. Yeah. We are like two of the only girls at that place. This is Michelle Rodriguez of KSCS 96.3. She's like a country music superstar. Yeah, like not a performer, but yes. I feel like you are somebody that is just immediately associated with country music and DFW.
Oh.
And I think so. And we've worked together for a few years now, but we've never really sat down and chatted.
No.
I've seen you in the hallway, so I'm so excited for you to be here. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's so good to meet you, Emily. It's the first time meeting you. But you're right, Julie. Like, I see her in the hallway all the time, and it's just hi, bye, because we're either going to the break room for something, you know, for water, or going to the restroom.
Yep.
And it's during a break.
Yep. We're like on
You don't
the
have
clock.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, we're running all around.
But isn't she so nice, Julie?
Oh, yes.
Well,
she's so
Michelle's so nice.
Right. I mean, I don't know her yet, but I assume she is.
I know.
I just always feel like, you know, when you're like, it's like me and Julie, and it's like, she's the nice one. Like, she's so nice. And I mean,
You're
not
nice.
say that about you?
I say it about me. I say it about our relationship. I'm like, she's obvious. It's like my sister and I. Like, she's like the nice one. And it's not like I'm a raging bitch, but maybe I'm just like a little more outspoken and opinionated about things, maybe.
Okay.
And Julie's just maybe a little more tactful, right?
Okay. See,
And so
I'm not tactful,
she's nice.
though. I'm not. Well,
Maybe you pick your spots.
yes,
Okay.
I do, because especially as a girl, you know, it's so hard it's difficult as a female, because then you're marked the bitchy one, you know, or the one that always has something to complain about.
Yeah.
So you really try to walk the line on that, but you're right. Like I do mornings. Basically,
Yes, I kind of introduced you, but tell everybody what it is exactly that you do, because you've recently even switched roles.
Yes. So I've been doing radio at Cumulus, where we work. And I started back there when it was Susquehanna. So a long time ago, we were like off of Maple Street, and we've moved a few times. Then I moved. I was with the Wolf at the time, 99.5 The Wolf, the other country station. And I started from the bottom. So I started doing promotions, setting up tents, did overnights, did nights.
Overnights? How long did you do that?
Forever.
Really?
You know, and you felt like you were constantly overlooked. And
This is like minor league baseball. It's like you have to do all these things to get to the show. Yeah. Congratulations to you for making it. So overnights.
Yeah.
And then
just
nights, middays, and now mornings.
Is this what you always wanted to do? Did you go to school for it? Like you wanted to do radio?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know that I could do radio. It's one of those things, like, I grew up in Oak Cliff, and I was oblivious to the world of media and how you could actually get into it, because I didn't see it. You know,
Right.
So I actually went to Texas A&M, and I was doing political science, because my mom's always been involved politically, locally, at the local level. As far as I can remember, all my adult life, she held office for the city of Cockrell Hill, small city.
Right.
But like it's a square mile big. My mom was always involved in politics. So I'm like, I'm going to do political science. I'm going to see what I can do in my community. And then I was at an event. It was a national night out. And there was a man, Smokey Rivers at the Wolf, who does middays, came over and was like, hey, kiddo, you should come work for us. And I was like, doing what? Promotions. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'll go, and that's how it started for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this
Who
is when
knew?
you were a college student?
He recruited you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So, I mean, I took off with it and luckily it worked out for me. So,
Yeah.
am.
Yeah, it really did. Okay, so overnights and then
Nights.
nights.
Middays,
And
now
then
mornings.
middays, and mornings is a very recent move. So it's
Yes.
you and Hawkeye now.
Yes.
On the mornings, you have to get there at
4:30. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
okay, but in radio, like people probably don't understand. Like that's the big
it.
job. That's what
Drive
you,
time,
It's
right?
drive time.
Yeah.
That's what you work
That's the
towards.
magic.
Yeah.
That's usually where the best pay is. All of that. So how did the morning drive come about for you, and how's it going? Getting up that early?
Well, it was difficult because at this point I'd been doing middays for 7-8 years and I felt so comfortable. I had a nice schedule. I was walking in there at 9:57,
Yeah, same.
leaving at 3:00. Like that's all and it was great. I did not have to have another human to play off of or have to clear things through. It was my show.
So it was you were on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was offered to do mornings, people were like, "Why would you leave your own show?" People that don't know, the radio business. Why would you leave your own show to go do another show with somebody that, whose name is on the show? Your name's not going to be on this show. Why would you leave your own show to go share the stage with someone else? It was hard for me to explain it to
Yeah.
And
people.
how did you?
Well, it's what you strive for in the radio world. That's
Yeah.
when more people listen to you. But during the pandemic, more people were listening to middays because they were working from home. So the numbers there were bigger. We were looking
They
at
weren't
that.
driving to work.
Yeah. And you didn't know how it was going to work out at the end. But ultimately, I'm like, everyone around me was like, this is the move you have to make in your career at this point in your life. So did it, thankfully, my co-host Hawkeye really rooted for me. Like he wanted me to join the show because I've known him for almost as long as I've been doing radio, like over 10 years. I mean, we knew we had the chemistry, which is so important when
You
you're
already
working
know
with
each other,
someone.
yeah.
Yes. So we get along like brothers and sisters and we bicker all the time on the air.
Yeah, which is fun. So, and it makes for great radio.
Yeah.
So you said you've been doing or in the business starting out since 2004.
Yeah.
You look like this tiny human. I'm like, wait a minute. I got here in 2004 and what's
How
your
old am I?
Yes. I mean, come on, man. Like,
is that what
I don't
Emily's
know.
trying to get to?
It is. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how old is this girl?
I know. People always wonder, they're like, oh my gosh.
No, yes.
I'm 38.
38?
Yeah. Thanks, Emily.
No, I need more work done. I need something like
She does. Yeah,
I
she looks like
should have worn makeup.
You could have said-
oh, shit.
You could have said 28.
Yes. Well, you look amazing.
thank
Cheers
you.
to that. Let's
Yeah.
just-
She
you're
really
so
does.
sweet.
you little bitch.
I think it's just good genes. It's good.
Okay.
We're going to call you bad names.
bragging about your jeans. I see how it is.
It
No,
really
just
is. You
kidding.
know what's funny though? My boyfriend tells all his friends how old I am.
Oh, is he younger?
No, he's a year older than me,
Okay.
but they think I'm so much younger than
Right.
that he's like, I'm like, quit telling them how old I am. But
Yeah.
he's like, I don't want them to think I'm some weirdo.
Okay, so now that we're just totally getting personal right off the bat, that was going to be one of my next questions. So being like in the public eye, dating, being single, or I guess you're with boyfriend, but like before you had a boyfriend, was that like a ridiculous mess? Because I know when I moved here in 2004, I was single. And this was before like social media and Bumble and all the other whatever, the Grinder. Is that a thing?
Oh, no, you don't want to be on Grindr.
Okay, whatever. All the dating apps. It was before then. And I'm super thankful there was like no social
There's
media.
a random one to
And
throw out.
Was
in.
it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the gay one.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, who knows back then, But I just remember like it was so fun. Like we thought we were super cool and, we'd go out and all that. But there was no social media. There was, so you could dance on tables and no one's going to take a
there was
video.
a lot of those moments.
No,
Yeah.
not a lot, but there was some that anyway, but what is it like in this age being in the scene? Are you in the scene? Do you go out?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering because it's kind of beaten, huh?
Yeah, because when people are like, "What's the cool spot to go to?" I'm like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
Check out the Dallas Observer, see what they're talking about. Like,
Go to the Arboretum. It's beautiful this time of
go
year.
to the zoo."
Right. Okay, you say that, but looking at like your Instagram, and this is probably part of the job, but you get to host so many cool country concerts and events and like hang out with the famous artists when they come to town and all of that. Like, how is that part of your job? Because I imagine that's so much fun.
Well, that's another thing. When Hawkeye and I were just talking about that. We're like, we don't take it for granted. We're just, like when you go to games, so used to going to games. Oh, I got another game to go to. It's like, oh, we got another concert to go to. You don't really get to enjoy it either. Like, it's not everything you see online. You're not just hanging out with the artist. Sometimes you don't even get to meet the artist. Like over the weekend, we had this guy named Cody Johnson. Out of all the concerts I've been to, and I've been to so many of his shows over the years, this was my first time meeting him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I usually just go on stage, do the intro, go home. You don't really, by the time the concert starts, you've been there all day.
So you don't stay usually.
Yeah,
You're
no.
like, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go home, unless it's somebody I like,
Yeah.
or I have friends there or something. But usually I try to go solo. So I don't have to babysit anybody, and because you know how that is. If you bring somebody to the game,
Yep. You got to
And
entertain
then you're
them.
working the whole time.
Okay. Do you get hit up? Because I know same with Julie, with Kelly, with the Stars, with me, with the tickets. Oh, can you get me some tickets?
all the time.
Makes me effing crazy. Like people that are close to me, fine. I'm in.
Yeah,
Whatever. Happy to help you out. But it's like the people that message me on Facebook. I'm like, if you don't have my number, I'm not getting you effing
know.
tickets.
No.
Do you get hit up for like tickets all the time?
Yes, and it's sad because sometimes you know how it is. People are like, so and so is dying, or so and so has
I
cancer,
know.
and they could very well do that. But I remember when my dad was dying of cancer, the last thing I was thinking about was a concert.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
you never know. And that's sad that we are jaded like this, but it's happened before where you've gotten burned and like someone's trying to get something and
didn't
then you're
have
like,
cancer.
right. Or they weren't, and it's like a workaround. It's just, and it's sad because there's icky people out there who do icky
do
things.
that. They take
And then-
advantage of
Yeah.
them.
But it's just such a beatdown and part of the job, obviously.
Yeah, no.
So who are the cool ones? Like who are
Yeah,
the ones
let's
that are
talk
like
about some of the
this?
country
That's
music
another thing people always ask me that I also get beaten by. Like, who's your favorite player? Who's
And
your
now we're
favorite
gonna
country
do it.
artist? Yes.
No, yeah, because you do want to know. Sometimes you don't want to meet them because you don't want to ruin that image that you have of that person. I think one of the coolest is Brad Paisley. Like, so real. One time,
The one that dates Gwen Stefani?
no.
That's Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton
Okay.
is also so very cool.
He is?
Oh
Okay.
my God. He is so real. He calls me Rodriguez. 'Cause obviously he doesn't remember my first
Wow.
name. But
Y'all are
plus
besties,
my-
basically.
Total besties.
He unfriended me on Twitter and I
What?
told him about it. He's like, clearly you're over it. This happened like 6 years ago. I'm like, 6 years ago, you unfriended me on Twitter.
Stop it.
So
And
did you call
held
him out?
onto it?
Did you call him out on the air?
No, we were like backstage at a concert. He's
Oh,
like,
okay. I didn't know if he was
He
on the
was
show or
shocked because obviously I sound like a stalker. I'm like, you guys.
But yeah, if
years
Blake
ago.
Shelton is following you, then all of a sudden he's not.
Yeah.
He's like, yes. Somebody's
What was his
noticed.
excuse?
He didn't give me an excuse, but I realized that at the time he was going out with Miranda Lambert and they ended up getting married. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Maybe
that
she made
weird.
him like
Unfollow all the hot.
the hot DJs that
Something.
he met
Hot
along the
DJs.
way. Okay, so Brad Paisley.
Brad Paisley, also very cool.
Have you met Carrie Underwood?
Carrie Underwood, very quiet, very introvert.
Really?
Yeah, but also very sweet. Like very sweet.
Yeah.
And that's probably why she can come off as, she's a diva because
See, I would be crushed if someone told me she was a total bitch. Like she seems truly nice.
very sweet.
Yeah.
Like so sweet. It's like you very delicate. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I gotta take care of her.
And smoking hot. I mean, she's
Oh my gosh,
But like
perfect.
a total country superstar makeover from the American Idol days. Not that she wasn't cute then,
No.
but she looks totally different. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
watching her on American Idol. And it was just like the little small town girl from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was driving to Missouri not that long ago, and I was like, I'm going to stop in Chakota and go potty in Carrie Underwood's hometown. And I drove all around. There's no potties there. There's like nothing there in Chakota, Oklahoma.
smart.
Never been.
Yeah, well, you're not missing out on much besides going through and saying you've been in Carrie Underwood's hometown. Okay, George Strait, have you met him?
Met him 2 years ago, finally. And I was starstruck. It's like,
Yeah, I think I would be too.
you look at him and you're like, oh my God, this is George Strait, who I've heard about all my life. That's cool. Hi, nice to meet you. It's so quick too. You know, some of those meet and greets are so quick, and some of them aren't. You know, it depends on the artist. And took my picture, and I was like, did that even happen? You know, it's so surreal.
Yeah.
Where you're
He
like,
gave me the biggest Heisman that I've ever gotten in my
Are you kidding
entire career. So he's at a UT game. I was working sidelines for the Big 12 for Fox.
Yeah.
And he's getting presented with something at halftime or something. And I walked up to him. He's in stride, walking somewhere, and I'm walking up to him, and I say, Mr. Strait, can I? He did not even break stride, and he did me this and then kept on walking, and I was like, hey, no.
Wait, he like pointed like,
Pointed like
No.
go away.
not you, and move on.
no.
Didn't even break stride, like just.
No.
And I was like, oh, so
I don't want to hear this. I don't
my-
want to hear this.
And then I was like, you know what? You're kind of short. I'm taller than you, and I'm wearing tennis shoes. Okay, so put that in your country music guitar and smoke it.
Put that in your what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I was
guitar,
like,
guitar,
man, he
yes.
did. I mean, he Heisman me faster
makes me
than
feel so
any
sad.
person ever. Like, and I've gotten the Heisman so many times. This was the fastest,
Maybe he had something
most
important to
convicted
get to.
Heisman.
he had to go pee.
Maybe he had a family
It was
emergency.
a football game. He was on the sidelines.
Family
at UT for-
emergency. Yeah, maybe he did have to
Yeah.
pee.
Well, I'm sure
And
he
he
did.
meant to come back and
when
find
you're,
you.
When you're 5'2", you have to pee a lot.
Oh my gosh.
She's
Yeah.
not
Very true. I'm 5'2" and I pee a lot. So true.
No, I'm sure George Strait is a lovely human being. He just did not have any time for me. Not 1 second.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just gonna drink my wine. over
Yeah.
here. While you guys. Keep
Well, that sucks. Okay, so see, I didn't have a conversation with it. It was just a meet and greet. He had to take a picture with me.
Yeah.
He had
So
no
it
choice.
was like part of his obligation.
Yeah.
So were you and are you like the real you a big country music fan, or is this something that was like, this is the job? So, you know, how did that work out?
I grew up with it a little bit, but you know, when you're living in Oak Cliff, you're not necessarily a country chick, you know?
Yeah.
I had a mixture of everything growing up. My dad was a musician. He played in Deep Ellum pretty much all my life. But
what kind of
played
music?
Jazz,
Okay,
blues.
very cool.
And so I grew up with that. And so I wanted to be in music in some way or another, but never imagined that I'd be on the other side of the microphone. Like, we grew up with instruments and singing and Selena and all of that. So when I came across music, obviously, like Dixie Chicks, love Faith Hill, all the mainstream country artists I was aware of. But when I came to the country music world, I didn't know a lot of the country artists, but I got to know them really quick. And I'm like walking Wikipedia now. It's insane.
Are you?
What about Texas country music? Do y'all get into that, or is it
Yes.
mainly like the bigger
More
picture, the
mainstream?
mainstream?
No, I mean, we do Texas country with the bigger artists, obviously, and a lot of those artists. When Texas country was like really hot, because there was a moment where it was like the only thing you would kind of listen to around here. That's when I first got into country radio. A lot of those bands, like the Randy Rogers Band, Eli Young Band, Pat Green, Kevin Fowler, that was the entire scene. So I grew up with a lot of those artists. Like, those bands have been around as long as I've been around, and we look at each other and we're like, man, we're still here.
I know, that's really cool.
Yeah, I just saw Kevin Fowler over the weekend. He looks at me, he's like, man, you've been around for a while. Like, we were just talking about that.
And doesn't that make you doesn't that give you kind of a sense of pride?
It does.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
one of the Rangers came back, he'd been in Japan, and then he was with our teams like in the early aughts, and was like, he was like,
still here?
You're still here. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing but you kind of wear it as
You
a badge of honor. Like, I've stuck it out, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've stuck it out through shitty baseball and, you know, all kinds of changes.
Management changes and everything.
And so, yeah, there is a sense of pride that you have in that. And I'm sure you
There
have that
is.
too, to where you're like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially when they recognize it, right? Like,
Yeah.
that takes it to a different level.
Yeah, because they've been to other places and they've dealt with other media personalities, and they know how difficult, and they probably hear us complain about the stuff that we go through. The Randy Rogers Band, like Randy was telling me, he's like, man, you're still here. It's like, you've been through a lot, because they hear about it from other people and other media sources, like other DJs and stuff. And I'm sure it happens to you where you're like, wow, a woman in media, in a male dominated industry, when they recognize it, because they've seen more than, you know, most of us have, being on both sides.
Right.
It is a badge of honor.
And it's hard, I feel like, so I don't feel like it's necessary. I feel like it's gotten easier since I started 23 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's easier for women to break in. It's even harder for women to sustain.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I've always said that.
I feel like,
Yeah.
Especially, in 23 years ago when I started, it was a different world. It was hard to break in, but I feel like as time's gone on, there's more opportunities for women, but the opportunity for sustainability is so much more difficult to get. It's so hard. And so I feel like congratulations to you for, like you said, grabbing it and holding on to it. And it is a huge compliment to you when those guys or women recognize that. Like, hey, you're still here. I've been here 10 times over the last 15 years. And every time I've seen you, I mean, that's pretty effing cool.
Yeah, it is. Now, I mean, but you're right. It's easier. I feel it's not necessarily easier, but I've always said getting there is not necessarily easy, but maintaining yourself and being on top and being able to still, bring in ratings and produce and reinvent yourself in this world that's ever changing in media. I mean, you got TikTok, you got all these other apps. It's like, I have to learn something else now.
We're supposed to be working on a dance right now. Julie said we're supposed to do a dance. We're supposed to learn a dance.
We're trying to figure out how to be cool and keep up with like the cool kids and the young people that are on TikTok.
I Googled the 10 most popular TikTok dances. Every one of them were like twerking. Like so
I know.
So suggestive. I was like, oh, whoa. Well, like, and then I was like, okay, how about the 10 most popular mom-friendly TikTok dances?
Womp, womp.
It's like,
and then you do it.
Everything else was like, this one was like this dance, and then she was wearing like sweatpants, and all of a sudden she like snapped her fingers, and she was wearing like a negligee, and I was like,
they all can't do that. No,
what is happening?
Not happening.
They all do the snap,
and then they jump, and then
or they like
change,
toss their hair over, and then they toss it back, and they're a whole new person, like fully made up. I don't even know how to do that.
I don't either.
Do you know how to do that?
I don't. I mean, Hawkeye and I have been trying, like, I told him, I'm like, hey, we should do like this TikTok. Cause we did one of those challenges where you try to get up, a man and a girl, laying down and trying to get up with your hands behind your back. And
I saw that.
That was cute.
Okay.
So we did that. And it was like, people are like, do more challenges. I'm like, the other things are dances. And he's got 2 left feet. Sorry, Hawkeye. But it's like, how do we do this? Like, how...
People are like, do more challenges.
Need to have
like, I'm here to talk about the songs that are about to come on the radio. What the hell is this?
TikToks for the middle aged is what we need to have.
Maybe we need to reinvent that. We need to own that field.
We need okay, here we go. We'll start a new app for TikTok for old fucks.
Like for old fucks.
Maybe we should do that. Let's ditch the dance and just try to get up off our stomachs onto our feet with our hands tied behind our backs.
Okay.
Yes.
That's going to look really awkward and terrible. I tried to just do one dance and then
Julie, it's hot.
Oh my gosh.
It's so hot.
It's not though.
Hot.
It's just the way of the world. So all of that being said, Michelle, though, like how do you, I mean, we both work in radio. How do you feel about like the radio industry right now and the way it's going? Because I know everybody's trying to adapt and people still listen, right? Like there's a lot of people that still put it on, myself included. I put it on the ticket. I put it on 96.3. I flip around the radio. That's just kind of what I'm used to and I still like it. But how do you feel about the industry right now and the way it's going?
You hear that a lot. You're like, oh, radio is dying. Oh, well, sales numbers show differently and our revenue shows differently, and you see all the numbers that come into the industry and it's like, oh, people do listen to radio. And it's funny. I saw a tweet and I'm sure you saw this on Twitter. Somebody was like, man, breaking news. It's important if podcasts could break in and let us know what's going on if they were live.
Yep.
Like that's radio.
It's radio. Yeah.
Kids, turn on your radio. It's that device.
Well, and that's something I love about it. You're getting like live updates, but it's also local. Like I love what you guys do, what we do on the ticket. It's like talking about, especially the Musers in the morning and you guys, what's going on this weekend. Like this is where we're going to be. You don't get any of that on a podcast. There's a place for podcasts. Obviously we have one, but I think there's a place for radio too. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just an interesting thing though, because you don't know where it's going because things are changing.
I love podcasts. I love being able to sit at home when you're not in the car and listen to conversations as entertaining as ours and informative and fascinating. And should we sell this more?
Keep going.
But, I feel that it is up to us as broadcasters to be able to like just keep pushing the envelope and making it something a little different than what it used to be in the past. Because that's what we have been doing here lately with Hawkeye and myself. Like we do a lot of the stuff we talk about is our lives, and people, I am amazed, want to hear about your life.
They do.
They do.
They do. Well, you become, or whoever it is that's talking becomes like almost a character to them.
Yes.
And we like watching shows, right?
Yes.
We like following characters. We like following celebrities. You get to know somebody on radio. That's one of the things that I've really loved about it. It's like on TV, I almost felt like a lot of times I was acting or something. On radio, I'm just being myself. I'm just talking. And you know what? If people enjoy what I'm saying, then oh my God, I don't know why, but it's kind of fun. Like there's something to that. And I think that's the beauty of radio. And that's what I think a lot of people feel with you, because they have known you for so long.
Yeah.
So they really feel a connection to you.
And they want to follow your journey, right? Like
Yes.
they want to know, are you dating? Are you going to get married?
Oh,
are you going to
gosh,
have
yes,
kids?
already.
Are you all the things, right?
Yeah,
like they
ask
want to
all those
know.
questions,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no pressure, thanks.
Right.
Like I needed another parent telling me.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay. So how long have you been dating your boyfriend?
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Because she does have a cute
Wanna know?
boyfriend on the gram these days.
Yes. Which, by the way, so how we've been started talking like during the pandemic. So it's been a year.
Okay.
And it was very organic. Like he doesn't like me telling the story, and I apologize. to him.
Sorry.
Which is why we want you to tell it. No, I'm just kidding.
But we actually started talking like he is a P1 from the ticket. And so he would listen to me when I would be on with the guys. And like we would talk about
He knew you
stuff
as Mitch
like that.
Rod.
Yeah, he knew me as Mitch Rod, but which was fine. I never thought like I could never date a listener. It's like, especially somebody with country music, because then you're like, are they using me for tickets and access? Or luckily Tim like had no interest in that. But it's a long distance relationship, and that part, yes,
So where does he live?
in San Diego.
Okay.
So I get
Okay, I just thought y'all were going on awesome vacations
Fun trip
together,
all the
but
time.
you're going to see him like on the weekends. That's how you have to fit it in.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. Going this weekend, and like we just took
Wow.
a vacation to Colorado where we did a 14er, which I didn't know what that was when he suggested it.
What is it?
You climb 14,000 feet of a mountain.
Okay.
It's the highest peaks in Colorado.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Do they serve wine up
I did
there,
it, but I was
or-
in high school. I couldn't
had
do it now.
alcohol.
I did it in high school.
He took a beer, which was smart.
Okay.
It took us hours. I do not work out. I do not do any of that. I do not run. I do not walk.
Now we hate you more.
First you look young, and now you're telling me you don't work out.
I mean, we
No,
love
just kidding.
you, but
For the love, child. Just keep
eat,
that shit
like,
to
a
yourself.
hamburger and it goes straight to my ass.
Stop.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're climbing all kinds of
I have
mountains.
high blood pressure, Emily. Does that make you feel better?
Okay. I hate
There
your
you
blood.
go.
I'm sorry about your high blood pressure.
take
it all back.
medicine.
I take it all back.
It's genetics again. So yeah, it's a little difficult.
I love
Bear-
it, Emily.
bear track.
Emily just
Whoops.
fall right into
Backtrack.
it.
Sorry about the high
Don't you
blood
hate
pressure.
when people do that?
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, really?"
Well, actually, like I just came back from funeral. That's why I'm dressed up. Did you hate that when you asked me like, "Oh, you
yes.
look great. Where are you going?"
Yeah. Funeral.
Whoops.
Funeral. Oh, damn it.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. All
But
right.
yeah, I mean, it has been a great relationship. He's a great guy, and I just we have so much fun.
So did he slide in your DMs or
Basically,
you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So he's
to
an
know.
out of town P1.
Yes.
So he's not like originally from here or anything.
Oh
How
no,
did-
no. Yeah, he is.
Oh, he
went.
is.
Yeah, he
Okay.
went to TAC, and then he went up
Love him.
already.
Love him. Guns up.
Yes,
Wreck him.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I get to hear about all of
All
that
the stuff.
Yes.
So he obviously loves like Josh Abbott and Randy Rogers.
he's aware.
And he's not a fan. He's okay. He's aware. That's a very nice way of putting it. Like he's not into country music, and we're moving on.
No, he was talking about Old Dominion the other day. I was like, you don't even know who Old Dominion is. He's like, yeah, they're a big band. I'm like, because you've heard me talk about them. Like, quit.
I don't think I know who Old Dominion is.
They're great.
Are they?
Yeah, you should love them.
Okay.
Yeah, who are
I'm gonna
your
check 'em out.
favorites?
You need to send.
need-
This is
we
what we
need
need to do.
Michelle's
We
picks.
need like a top for because I'm not a huge country music person. Like I listen to a little bit of everything. Like it's like Bee Gees and gangster rap and like everything in between.
Bee Gees.
If you don't appreciate the Bee Gees, we can't be
I do
friends.
like the Bee Gees.
I mean,
Okay.
The Bee
She's
Gees are
upset about that.
do not insult the Bee Gees right now.
I'm not insulting the Bee
sorry.
Gees. It's just kind of like what, like my mom.
I'm so, yeah.
Oh.
Yes, you're right. You're 10 years older than me. Good for you. Congratulations. But I do like a little bit of everything.
Are you?
Yes.
10 years younger.
She's 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
I'm 10 years older than her.
Wait, no.
You're 35, 34, 33,
36.
36.
What are
I'm
you?
40. I'll be 44 next month.
That's not 10 years.
It's 8.
Love, that's not 10 years.
Round it up.
Okay.
It's a fucking decade. And when you're born in the 70s, you like the Bee Gees, goddammit.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes.
Like Brick House.
Yeah,
And like all
right.
That, yeah.
But then mix in some Biggie and
Yeah,
Eazy-E, all of it.
Yes.
And then country's in there mixed in.
It is.
But I'm not like, I need like a top 5 country artists I need to check out.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that.
Send us that and
yeah.
we'll post it on our social
Somewhere.
channels.
Michelle's top
Swipe
5
up.
We'll post it on our TikTok page and do a
country
dance to
artists.
it.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so I'm just to backtrack a little bit, super happy and excited
Super
about
happy.
the relationship.
Yes.
Because I know it's hard when you're obviously very ambitious and spending a lot of time working for, however many years you've been at the job. And it's hard to meet people. And I get excited hearing about how people kind of figure it all out along the way. So,
Yes, it was very difficult for me. I didn't date for a long time. I just hated it. I wasn't on those dating websites because you don't know what they're looking like. Who really wants to date you for who you are?
right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then you try to figure out like who's going to put up with this shit? Who's going to put up with this job?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's especially as you get older, those are conversations you think about. Like when you're dating a guy, like, is this guy going to take care of my kids when I'm on a 10-day road trip? Like,
Right,
is he, what kind of a parent is this guy going to be? What
Or
kind
like,
of
yeah.
is he going to be
Going to sporting
supportive?
events, going to concerts,
Is
all
he
the
going to be
things.
okay with all these things? Being around men all the time? Is he? What is he going to be okay with? Like, those are things you have to think about that really you never really thought about when you said this is what I want to do, or you made the decision this is what I want to do.
Yeah, because like I told
real
him,
thing.
and I told him that I said I'm going to be very busy during the pandemic. Wasn't, but every weekend is taken up by a concert. And that is my life. I didn't have a life because I was doing concerts all the time. So that's probably why I was able to slow down and have a nice relationship. But he's just as busy himself. Like he is a lawyer, so he was like on this trial recently where it was like they were working literally like 17 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting. And I don't know how he does it,
That's a
but
lot.
you do that for a period of time where it's like, and my friends have told me they're like, you wouldn't like him if he wasn't
ambitious,
as
had
ambitious
a
and
job
working as much as you were.
like
you
that.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I was with my husband. Like there's probably 2 people on the planet
Yeah.
that would have put up with me and that I would have.
It's funny because you find somebody that's
that it jives
similar to
right?
you. Like my husband works in sports, and that's what made us work. We met working in sports. We both have that connection. Our first date was like at a Mavericks game, and I was so excited that he got me Mavs tickets. And it's all like wonderful and beautiful. And then you have kids, and it's like, wait, hold up.
How are we gonna do this?
How are we supposed to do this? You're working at night.
Yes.
I'm working at night. Like our schedules don't add up to kids and then school and then everything else. So it's just bizarre. But I think
made
there's
it work.
something wonderful about doing what you love, finding somebody that does what they love, and then you figure it all out along the way. And we talk about that a lot on this
And
show.
then you get it. Like you get it. Like he gets it, you get it. You know what I mean? And then you figure out a way to make it work. How beaten do you get by people asking you if you want to have kids?
Oh man, all the time.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because you told us how old you were, which you don't look it.
Yeah,
Annoying,
but it's like, or is that going to happen for you? Are you going to do it? Like, when are you getting married? Oh, was he going to propose to you at the top of the mountain? Like,
oh gosh, you're like, geez,
Because
I'm
here
just
comes
going
all
on
because what
vacation.
I mean, before if you were like 28 and dating a guy for a year, 2 years, it's like those questions don't come.
No.
If that happens post 35, it's like all bets are off, girl.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming guns a-blazing asking you
And
all
why?
the
Like,
questions.
why do people feel like
Same
that's
thing as soon as you
acceptable?
pop out one kid, they're asking you when you're having
the
another
next
one.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, I feel like sometimes it's like you don't know what to say. And so you're like just going, like you're going with it. I don't know. Like it's just like the weather.
Right.
Like, it's like, oh, you've got a baby. Oh, you can have another one.
They feel like that's just a normal thing to ask.
Right. And then you don't
it's very
take into
personal.
It's very personal. We talked to Mike Soroy about this.
Yeah.
Like, some people they're conflicted about having kids. Some people aren't able to have kids. Like, I mean,
Right.
we had fertility issues. Like, and that was, you don't know what, all
You
the
don't know
things.
what you're going to deal with.
And I don't
you know?
think anyone has those intentions
No.
when they ask those questions.
Right.
I think they're A, genuinely curious, and B, don't know
They're
what else
just
to ask.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like they feel like that's the natural course of. It's just like, oh, this is what's in the script. When you're 30
Yeah.
plus 35 and you've been dating a guy for 1 year, you ask them if they're going to
Yeah.
get married. And then if they want to have kids, and if they've got one kid, ask them if they're going to have another one.
Yeah,
or if
it's like
they've
a
got
script.
2, are you done? Like, it's like all the things. It's like,
No, I mean,
a
I'm
lot.
sure our parents are like, just go ahead and have kids already. Like,
Yeah.
why? But I just usually say, I'm like, oh, God's in control. So yeah. How do you feel about that? Like, I'm not gonna discuss it because literally I don't know.
Right.
It's whatever. All my life I have been focused on my career, and there was a point in my life where you wonder, man, is it ever going to happen for me? And I'm sure there's a lot of girls that think that,
Yeah.
man, I'm never going to find that guy. Or like, I went through the loss of my dad's death, and that really, like, death really changes
When
you.
was that?
yeah, how old were you?
It was 2015.
Okay.
So at that point, it's like, man, my mom's on her own. Like, I need to take care of my mom.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with my mom? My mom was married for, almost 40 years to the man, like, the love of her life. It's like, you start thinking, man, do I take care of her the rest of my life? Do I go find my own happiness? Like, you are torn, and that will mess you up for a while.
Yeah.
So thankfully, like, obviously my mom wants me to be happy, but you think of all that and then work on top of that. And it's like, and
a
you
lot.
you rely on work to just keep going.
Yeah.
You know, but thankfully, like, I'm in a different place right now, and it's worked out for me. So
Yeah, and time. I lost my daddy 5 years ago, and it's like,
same,
it's like, you just don't really know how to
cope. Yeah.
navigate things. And for my dad was married to my stepmom for 20 years, and fortunately, she has girls that live in
good.
Graham, where she lives, that take care,
of
basically,
her, yeah.
help take care of her, and we're still very close. She's very close with my kids, but I didn't have that of worrying about my mom
Yeah.
of how she was going to survive. And
Yeah.
obviously I worry about Ava, and I want her to be happy, and we check in on her, but it's not the daily,
Right. Yeah.
that her girls, that her daughters
Have
are
to,
dealing
yeah,
with. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it does. That it will F you up like
It
nobody's
will.
It's
business.
so hard.
It's so hard.
Not to like talk too much about grief, but it is real life, and we
Yeah.
have talked about it on this show. And my husband lost his mom not that long ago. My dad's actually like really struggling with Alzheimer's. I don't talk about it much,
yeah.
but there's something like with being this age where like you feel like you're gung ho on career, like gung ho on your life and what it is that you want to do. And you have these parents that are like between the age of whatever, 55 and 75, and something happens all of a sudden. Like I'm in a place now where it's like I could full time be taking care of my dad, but
Right.
but what do you do?
Yes.
So I can imagine what you went through with your dad and trying to make sure your mom's okay and everything else. And so just, like more power to you for like forging on with your career and getting to where you wanted to go, because I know it's probably just been really hard. It's just something we all have to deal with, and we don't really plan on it when something
Yeah.
like that happens.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, but you just keep going. Obviously,
Yeah.
you have no choice. And that's just part of life, man.
Yeah.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that
And we're all going to
it's just-
experience loss.
Yeah.
And have you encouraged your mom to date?
Oh no.
You haven't?
She's like so against
she's
that.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's like,
She's just
dare you? Yeah.
settled, like just
But you know what? Like my mom too. I mean, my mom's been divorced. She married again after my dad, and then she's been divorced for a while. And now she's kind of like, you know what? I'm just kind of, I'm good. I'm kind of set my.
yeah, you are.
I think
kinda
she would
set in
like
your
a
ways.
companion, like someone that would like maybe travel or go to dinners with or whatever. Maybe she might want a companion, but it's not like she's looking for
Yeah.
the
I think
love of her life.
at that stage in your life,
You know?
I assume it's different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But I'm always curious to see if if everyone, because everyone has a different, viewpoint on it.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, yeah.
I want to go out and I want to, find someone to share the rest of
yeah.
my life with or whatever. And you hear these stories about, like in retirement homes, these, older people
So
getting,
cute.
which is adorable.
Yes.
But that's my mom's the same. She's like, yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
deal with
somebody
that.
landed on her doorstep, I'm sure she
Sure,
would.
come on in.
Yeah, but
Mow
there
my
has to be
lawn.
those. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not like that.
No, I know what you
Like,
mean.
help- like, 'cause
I know what you mean.
You do. Like, you kind of need some help and you
Yeah,
want someone
yeah.
to hang out with.
It's just
Yeah,
nice to have
yeah.
a companion.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
think about
is.
it. When you go to dinner, you would like to go with someone rather than go by yourself.
You never go eat by yourself. Well, I mean, you do. A lot of times we have,
Yeah.
sat there at Campese's in the back patio and
Yeah.
just enjoy the
Yeah.
hustle.
So your mom is in town, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
probably see her a lot.
I do, and like I have a nephew who is like just the love of her life. So you have that
Grandkids
stuff. Yeah.
make everything
Oh,
better.
I know. I'm sure she's like, what are you
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll figure it out, Mom.
Yes.
I'll figure it out.
You will.
Okay, so one of the other things I wanted to ask you about was just being here in Dallas. And what are some of your favorite things to do, favorite places to go when you do go out? Because you've been here for so long and you know about all the cool things.
Well, you would think, right? But like I told you, like every time I would go out, it'd be a concert. I'm going to JEXA. I'm going, to Globe Life Field to whatever is going on there.
What's the best place
Globe
to
Life
see
Park
a concert?
now? Globe Life
The
Field.
Life Field is the new one. Park is outside. I know. It's
Where's
very
your favorite venue for a concert that you've been to?
Um,
Because I pick and choose my concerts, and like if I'm going to one and I'm paying and I'm driving and blah blah blah, like I want it to be a good place.
yeah, especially with parking. I like Verizon, or now it's not Verizon anymore. I
Is that
forget
the one
what
at
it's called?
Grand Prairie?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not Verizon. It's called something else. They just recently changed the name again. I like that one because it's like any seat in there is good. Parking is not that far, but like you start going outdoors to like JEXA and those
Yeah.
amphitheaters, Toyota Music Factory, it's like really flat for my liking, and it's like, oh, it's so hot. Like,
Yeah.
who wants to be?
I've been to that one that you're talking about. We saw Amos Lee, and he was phenomenal. Not a country artist, but
I know.
have you ever heard of Amos?
Yeah.
He's tremendous.
I miss going to concerts.
Really good voice. And I'm not a big concert girl. I'm not a big, obviously my musical palette is not very sophisticated. But Amos Lee was a really good, he's just a good
Yeah,
singer. And
yeah.
it's not like it was a bunch of flashy, whatever, but
Right.
that venue is
Yeah.
pretty awesome. How often do you make it out to Billy Bob's?
Pretty much every time there's a concert.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And so that's all through the station.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they want you to have presence there. They want you to be on stage and introduce the artist. And so I mean, Billy Bob's is like a second home. That's
Yeah.
what it basically becomes.
They're good
It's-
people there
They
too.
are good people. They're a family. In fact, if you've ever been to Billy Bob's, you know the name Robert Gallagher. He is an icon backstage, Emily. You know that.
Yep.
He is like the entertainment director back there. He, I think he sometimes is more famous than Billy Bob's itself. Like artists come see him. And so you get to know those people. They become like your extended family. You go there, you do the intro. But again, like most of the time I leave because it's like, man, and it's silly to think that I will drive 45 minutes to Billy Bob's, do a 5-minute intro, maybe less. I mean, you're on stage for less than that, and then I go immediately home.
Yeah.
And-
but when it becomes an obligation, it's like you're
and too,
tired.
Your time is valuable, right?
Yeah.
Like in your downtime. Okay, so I want to ask you this. This is my last thing that I have for me. But what if there's one concert that you can stay for? You can stay for. You've got the best seat in the house. Who is it?
Oh,
So you do the intro. You walk off the stage. You go to the best seat in the house.
I have stayed for Old Dominion.
Okay.
I told you. Stayed for George Strait. Sorry.
All right, Heisman, George
I love them
Heisman Street.
too.
It's okay.
I've stayed for like the Brad Paisley show because you get to know him, Blake Shelton. Like these are artists that you definitely want to see because they're good people.
Yeah.
Well, George Strait, he's George Strait.
Oh,
but-
he's a good person. He just didn't want to talk to
busy.
me. He was
had-
very busy
He
at
had
the football game.
Emily, he probably had to poop.
On the football field. Had to poop on the football
That's
field.
what I'm going to tell myself.
Okay. I can't, I'm going to immediately go to the iTunes store. Does anyone else do that except for me? I still do iTunes.
You go to this store.
I go to the iTunes store.
store?
Well, I mean the store, the app,
Okay.
whatever. I'm going to search Old Dominion.
You're gonna look for the records.
and I'm going to
We were
get some
laughing earlier.
CDs. I'm going to get some
You play
CDs to put in my
straight
Discman.
records.
Remember a Discman?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a Discman.
Yes.
With the
That was
CDs.
hot shit. Yes.
That was hot
The
shit.
Discman could play CDs. I had a belt thing where
I
I
know.
could put it on
I
my belt.
remember. I remember.
Yeah.
Headphones.
Not very easy though, because if it would bounce, it would
you
scratch the
couldn't-
CD, and
no.
you had to buy another
done.
CD.
Yeah. Discman.
Okay, and my last thing is I have to ask you about the second date updates because
Oh,
for
gosh.
whatever reason, I guess y'all do it. What are the days you do it and the time so we can give a little plug too? But I always seem to catch it.
Okay.
And it's really fun.
Oh gosh. I mean,
tell me
they're
what it is. I
hot
don't know what it
mess.
is.
So people go on dates and for some reason didn't get a second date. So they call us to try to see why they didn't get a second
Okay.
date.
And they connect them.
Yes.
Like
and
it.
so we do it at 8:20 every day.
Okay.
Which you can
love
it's like the new episode, but we actually do like a rewind. We do the episode of the day before at 6:40. So you can hear one at 6:40. The new one is at 8:20, and then we do a rewind of like one of the best at 9:40. So sometimes it's confusing because people are like, "Man, second date update was so funny today," and you're like, "Which one?"
Like,
Like,
which
we
one
played
was it?
3 different ones, but the 8:21 is like the one
fresh.
the one that we
Is that
just talked
ever
to.
like pretty awkward?
Always,
Because you're
pretty
always
awkward.
funny during it. I
Oh
like
my
it. But
gosh.
hearing the people and what they have to say and why the date didn't work out.
There is some stuff that I'm like, Hawkeye, we can't say that. Or like, I'm like, you need to edit that. You need to bleep that out. He's like, I'm such a prude when it comes to that. But then I'm afraid, you know how people like always comment and say stuff and then like get on your case about stuff. And I
know.
definitely don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
Don't want to make waves.
I'm the heathen.
Well, me too.
I'm the heathen. Like,
So is Hawkeye.
oh my gosh,
And
you
I,
cuss
Hawkeye
so
likes
much.
it.
Do you talk to your kids with that mouth? And- yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I
reel
do.
it in. We can't do that. We can't like,
Oh, sure you can.
yeah, well.
But it gets
Fine.
people talking.
And
Yeah.
he's like, what are they going to do? Fire me? I'm like, well, I guess not. Yeah.
It's like as long as you're
ahead.
doing it,
Yeah.
like as Hawkeye, then
Yeah.
you're fine.
Go
I'm
ahead
gonna
and have at it.
exactly. Go.
But no, yeah, there's some uncomfortable ones that we never aired, and then it's like some that are just so stupid, and it's
Yeah.
like, why did you even call? Why did like we even go through this? Because like there was there was this girl that called and she did not understand why her ex-boyfriend should not stop paying for her stuff, like still paid for her penthouse and her really nice car. And this guy's like, I don't want to go out with you because your ex-boyfriend's still paying for your stuff. And she's like, why should I downgrade? I should not downgrade the life that he upgraded me to.
And but you're like on the radio and you're trying to be like nice and like, what do I
Well,
say?
yeah, they're guests on the radio. You're not going to be
Right.
like a jerk to them.
Right.
But
And then people call us and they're like, why didn't you just call them out? I'm like, because that's not my job. That's your
right.
job.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Turn the form over to
exactly.
you. Thank you very much.
It has been like a really fun and successful thing for y'all.
Yes, it
That,
has
like it's
been.
fun. A lot
Yeah, I
of
need
people
to
tune
do
in
that.
just for that
Yes,
because
I
because
definitely
it's
will.
great and it's real.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I have been lucky to be joined by both of you guys today. I feel like it's a pillar of DFW country music, a pillar of DFW sports, and I'm so glad you guys got together and
so
finally got to
sweet.
meet and that we've had
know,
this fun
seriously.
conversation.
And a pillar of DFW niceness. Right
Seriously,
over
you
there,
guys are
always.
Let me say it. You guys are powerhouses and you don't even know it.
You're damn right. We don't know it.
Start treating me like that.
We're nothing.
Do you know who I think I am?
like that?
You are damn right. We don't know it. Tell everyone you know because we don't know and they don't know and we
don't
need
know.
everyone to know.
We do. Well, I felt that way. It was one thing, and I meant to say this at the beginning, but when I went to work at Cumulus, and I didn't know anything about radio, really.
Right,
like I
yeah.
was in TV. That's how I know Emily. And then I like kind of looked around. I was like, wait, okay, Michelle's here? Like Michelle Rodriguez?
Shut up.
Like I was because I listened to country music, and it was just like one of the only names in radio in town that I think I would have like actually recognized or felt like I had some sort of like relationship with because I had listened. So I remember
sweet.
thinking that was so cool
So
and
sweet.
thinking like, wow, this is like a cool radio world. And I didn't know that the ticket was owned by the same person. Like I just
Yeah.
didn't know. I'm still
Yeah.
learning.
No, yeah.
But I remember thinking that was so cool, and I just have so much respect for you and what you've been able to do in your career, and as sweet as you are to everybody that walks through those hallways.
thank you.
It's awesome. So thanks so much for joining us today. This has been so much fun.
It has
Keep
been.
crushing it, girl.
Yes, keep
Thank
on
you.
crushing
No,
it.
thank you.
Crushing it. We got to
We didn't talk about the pour.
have-
Emily
yeah.
was pouring stone.
Well, Emily and I had no problem.
And we're doing okay over here.
Emily had a big old
seasoned
pour.
veterans over here. I did not have a bigger pour. I'm trying
No, I said a big old pour.
Oh,
for
I thought
all
you
of
said
us.
a bigger pour. I was like, we had all the same pours.
Now I'm
I
worried
measured it.
about the rest of the afternoon.
I
if we're
know.
gone.
You should be. Some of it was ice that melted. It's fine.
Okay, it's water.
Anyway.
Totally fine. Okay, we got to end the show with the mom game out, flashing up the peace signs. This
do
is
the
our
peace
terrible
sign.
attempt at being young and hip. So just say, Mom, look at the camera and say,
Bear with
Mom
us.
game out. And this is what we do. Mom game out. Are we going to drop this ever? Or are we just going to keep
No, we're gonna go forever.
We're giving it. Okay, we're doing it forever.
Yeah.
Mom game out.
Mom, give out.